Namaste, welcome to our Group 1 Services Mains Examination Orientation Classes and Guidance Classes telecasted by TSAT. So, once again welcome to all aspirants who qualify in the prelims examination and who are going to write mains examination. This is a most important stage for you, because after completion of the Group 1 mains you are going to be selected and settled as a district level officers and state level officers also. So, if you want to become as a state level officer or district level officer, so this is very important. You have to score more than 70% of the total examination. So, more than 70, that is a very important. So, you have 6 papers and each paper carries 150 marks. So, totally 900 marks. So, means nearly if you got more than 60 means already I said. So, 600 means nearly 70%, then only there is a possibility to select through this examination. Okay. So, lot of planning, lot of proper plan execution, all these are very important. At the same time, identifying the papers which is easier to you to score maximum marks in the examination also plays a vital role and key role in your success. So, in my opinion, paper 5 plays a vital role if you are maths and science background aspirants. So, because this paper is purely concerned to the mathematics and science. So, there are 3 sections in the paper 5. We have science and technology questions in section 1 and section 2, means each section 50 marks, of 50 of 50, totally 100 marks from the science and technology area. The rest of the area comes under the section 3, comes as data interpretation and problem solving. In data interpretation and problem solving, you are going to practice and write the examination on the different areas like ratios and proportions, compound interest and simple interest. Okay. At the same time, you can say about line graph, bar graphs, cumulative curves, frequency curves, okay, and central tendency, time and distance, time and work, like various concepts which are totally considered as a quantitative aptitude. So, which is highly useful for you. At the same time, who are preparing for the various competitive examinations, this is an essential area to identify the things. Am I correct? So, maybe you understand. And a very important thing is you have to shift your mindset from objective pattern to descriptive pattern. This is a very important in each area. Of course, in each session I am giving a more focus on this area only, because already you are well practiced for the prelims examination. Now you are going to practice for the mains examination, means you are writing the descriptive type examination. So, you are able to write solution, not answer. So, I got answer, that is okay, that is not a correct. You have to write appropriate solution for the given problem or given question. Are you understand? So, in this section, so you have 5 questions, each question carry 10 marks, 10 5 is 50. So, sometimes each question have 5 sub questions and each sub question has 2 marks. So, that is examination pattern. Now, we are going to move on the context, that is simple interest and compound interest, which comes under the data interpretation. Clear? So, now mostly everyone knows it, and a simple interest and compound interest is a regular daily life situation. Am I correct or not? So, most of you are using a different financial apps like app or other apps of bank transactions and even regular transactions also for financial transactions. So, this simple interest and compound interest is a part and parcel of it. So, now coming to that, what is simple interest? So, simple interest is calculated using the following formula generally. So, we call it as we will say as a simple interest is PTR by 100, PNR by 100, we will say as PTR by 100. So, the simple interest is calculated using the following formula, that is simple interest equal to PTR by 100. Actually, it's 100 is not typed here, that is the reason I added this PTR by 100. Sometimes we will call it as PNR by 100 also. So, here P stands for the principal amount, how much amount you lended, that is called the principal amount, and R stands for annual rate of interest, and n stands for number of terms. Maybe why I said this number of terms means sometimes you may take the terms as half yearly, sometimes quarterly or sometimes years. So, that is the reason we use the word term of loan. Of course, this one generally in practice is in years. So, the formula simple interest we will say as I is equal to PTR by 100. This is a regular used formula, or you can say it as PNR by 100. So, whatever it may be the formula. So, just there is a small change in T in place of N. So, T is time or N is and number of terms, of course, terms of loan, that is it. Clear? Okay. So, P stands for principal amount, how much amount you lended either from bank or the third person, that will be considered as a P, and R stands for rate of interest and N stands for the term of loan in years. Clear? Okay. Now, coming to the next kind of interest is compound interest. The compound interest occurs and is added to the accumulated interest of previous periods. It includes interest on interest, and in other words the formula for compound interest is P into 1 plus R by 100. This is R by 100 whole power T minus P. So, generally we will say as A is equal to, simply we will say P into 1 plus R by 100 whole power n. This is the total sum. I is equal to, you can say as A minus P, as you know that is the reason the formula has written as P of 1 plus R by 100 whole power n minus P. Clear? Okay. So, here the everything is the same. P is how much amount you lended, that is called a principal amount, and R is rate of interest, N is number of years for applying for the interest a loan, and of course, A stands for the total amount and I stands for the interest. Clear? Okay, what is the difference between a compound interest and simple interest? As you know that, for example, you have taken 100 rupees and per annum it is just 10 rupees is the interest for that. So, means here the first year, that is after 1 year you have to pay 110 rupees, correct? In simple interest you have to pay, that is only 10 rupees is the interest, and of course, principal amount is 100. So, you have to pay 110 rupees. If for example, if you continue the loan for the next year also, means they will calculate that 100 as a principal amount and again a 10% interest rate, means one more 10 rupees of course will be added, that is 20, totally 120 rupees you have to pay after 2 years in simple interest concept. Whereas, in compound interest, this 110 rupees including interest with the principal amount for the first year will become as principal amount for the second year. Means 110 will be principal amount and 10% rate of interest will be rate. Means 110 for 10 per means here 11 rupees. So, if you take it as 110 rupees as a principal amount and the 11 rupees is interest for that, means here 121 rupees after 2 years. In the compound interest you have to pay 121 rupees, whereas if in compound in simple interest you have to pay just 120. So, here that is the reason we said is it includes interest on interest, that is a compound interest. Compound interest on interest, what is the interest rate? 10%. So, 10% and 10% is how much? 10% and 10 rupees how much? 1 rupee. That 1 rupee is added, that it includes interest on interest. This is a this is a basic difference between a compound interest and simple interest. Are you understand? Clear? So, very clear. So, the principal amount does not change in simple interest, only the interest will be added for the according to the number of years. Whereas, in compound interest every year the total will become as a principal amount and the compound interest will be added to the total. That is the difference. I will discuss it like a tabular form, then you can see the difference and comparison between simple interest and a compound interest. So, definition is simple interest can be defined as a sum of paid back for using the borrowed money over a fixed period of time. The compound interest can be defined as when the some principal amount exceeds the due date for a payment along with the rate of interest for a period of time. This is the definition, and here simple interest I said as Ci, that is simple interest will be PTR by 100, whereas for compound interest is P into 1 plus R by 100 whole power T minus P, clear. And the return amount, the return is much lesser when compared with the compound. When you compare compound interest amount and simple interest amount, the simple interest amount will be simple. Here the interest much more higher. The principal amount is constant throughout the tenure, toward the term of loan, but the principal amount keeps on varying during the entire borrowing period. So, it will be where every year the principal amount will be changed. Now, growth. The growth remains quite uniform in this method because uniformly growth will be considered for the simple interest, whereas the growth increases quite rapidly in this method. Interest charged, the interest charged is for the principal amount only. Here the interest charged on it is for the principal and accumulated interest. This is the basic difference. So, why I said this total information to you means it gives a crystal clear information to you about the simple interest and compound interest. I hope you understand the difference between the simple interest and compound interest. Very simple formulas, only two formulas, I equal to PTR by 100 or PNR by 100 for simple interest, whereas for compound interest A equal to P of 1 plus R by 100 whole power n, or I equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 whole power n minus P, because I is nothing but A minus P, and that is the reason the formula has set like. Okay. Now, we will see and we will practice the previous examination questions, and that will give a clear idea about what kind of questions, how the questions will come in the examination. Okay. See here I am giving the total explanation in a typed format, because so the viewers can simply copy the solution easily, but if I did the work on that, so it is maybe you feel difficulty to copy the answer. That is the reason I am giving the total solution. Now, I am going to explain how we are going to find the answer, the step and method and the logic behind it. Okay. A bank offers 5% compound interest. So, 5% compound interest means here interest rate is given as R is given as 5%, correct. And half yearly basis means here for year how many terms you will get 2. So, that is the reason you have to calculate for every year it will be 2, n equal to 2, because for a year there are 2 half years. The customer deposits 600 rupees each on 1st January and 1st July of every year. So, the customer generally deposits 1600 rupees of a year in 1st January. After 6 months, in the 1st July of a year, he will deposit once again 1600 rupees. Okay. At the end of the year, the amount he would have gained by way of interest. What is the amount of gained by that person who are investing 1600 rupees of the 1st January and 1600 rupees on the 1st July. After the completion of the year, how much interest he will gain. Okay. So, what is the value here is given as P is 1600, it is clearly given 1600, correct, and the rate of interest is given as 5, correct. Okay. So, we will say as n equal to for 1 year, correct. So, we will say first say as 1 year, then you will convert it that one. Okay. So, means you can say as what is the formula we have got it as P is equal to 1, sorry, A equal to P of 1 plus R by 100 whole power n. Am I correct? For that reason here this 5% per annum it is. For 6 months it will becomes 5 by 2, do not forget. So, R will be becomes as 5 by 2. Are you understand this? 5 by 2. So, P is how much? 1600, 1 plus R is how much? 5 by 2, okay, 100 And what is n here? For 1 year, how many half years? We have 2 half years or 2, correct? Okay. So, what is the value will come here now? Now, observe it, this will becomes as a 1600, now 5 ones, 5 20s, means 1600 of 1 plus 1 by 40 whole square, or 1600, correct, of 40 ones are 40 plus 1, 41 by 40 whole square. So, it becomes as whole square means 16 and of 41 by 40 in 41 by 40. Okay. So, 5.5 year customer deposits 600 in each January, and at the end of the year the amount have gained by interest is 1600 of 41 by 40 or 41 by 40, and the remaining, don't forget, so first one is for 1 year. I understand the logic. For first 1600 he deposit on 1st January. So, we are calculating the interest at the end of the year means 31st December, means the first 1600 for 2 half years. The next 1600 which was deposited on 1st July for 1 half year, means 1 by 2. That's the reason it is 5 by 200 whole square, here 1 plus 5 by 200 only. Are you understand this step? So, if I write the step directly, then you may get confused. This one for total 1600 which was deposited on 1st January. This one which was deposited on 1st July. So, 1600 by 41 by 40 or 41 by 40. So, here 61 or 41 by 40 is a common for both these terms. Then here 41 by 40, here the total one is taken common, so 1. So, means 41 of 40 means 41 plus 40, that is 81 by 40. So, 1600 41, after simplification it becomes as 41, this one is 81, 1600 of 41 of 81 by 40 into 40. So, 41 is a 1600, this 1600 get cancelled. So, 41 81, that is 3321. This is the total amount, but what is required here? Interest is required. What is the interest? I is equal to A minus P. A is how much? 3321 minus, what is the principal amount? 1600 plus 1600, that is 3200, which one is 1121 rupees, of course 121 rupees. So, the interest gained by the person who deposited 1600 on the 1st January and one more 1600 on 1st July at the rate of 5% interest rate, he will get 121 rupees. Like you have to write the solution, then you will get the full marks for it. Okay, I understand it. Now, we will see the next question. The difference between the simple and compound interest is compounded annually in a certain sum of money for 2 years at 4% annum is 1 rupees. Then what is the sum? So, he lended some or he deposited some amount, okay, and the rate of interest is 4% and just he kept for 2 years. When you calculate the interest in simple interest and when you calculate the interest in compound interest form, the difference of these two is given as 1 rupee. Then what is the principal amount? This is a question. So, understanding the question is very important. So, now we come to that, we doesn't know the principal amount, say it is x. So, we are saying as P is equal to x, correct? Okay. Then what is compound interest? You know that compound interest is P of 1 plus R by 100 whole power n minus P, correct? Now, we can say P, we said x 1 plus R by 100 4 by 100 whole power n square, because n is given as 2 years of x, understand. So, it is x of the 104, or you can say 100, you can say 104 as you wish, that is very important. So, 100 plus 1, Now minus x is given, so minus x is given, we will see the later what is that value is. So means 104 4 ones 4 25 25 ones 25 plus 1 26 26 by 25 whole square minus x, or you can say x 26 means 676 26 whole square minus 625 by 625. 676 minus 625, what is its value? Its value is 51x, 51x by 625, correct. This is the compound interest. Now we are going to calculate the simple interest. Simple interest is PTR by 100, as you know it. P is how much? X, T is for 2 years, R is for 4 and by 100, correct. So means 8 by 100, 25 is, means it is 2x by 25, correct. So the difference between these two, simple interest and compound interest, that is 51x by 625 minus 2x by 25 is, we are going to LCM of 625 and 25 is 625, as you know it, and so 25 625 ones are, this is 51x, 25 is, so this is 50x, which is given as 1 rupee, is given as 1 rupee, correct. 51 minus 50x is x by 625 is equal to 1, or x is equal to 625 rupees. So the principal amount is 625 rupees. So like you can calculate the amount. This is a most important thing you have to calculate. Very simple, there is no difficulty at all, just especially in this data interpretation, when you consider any concept, maybe time and distance, maybe time and speed, or ratios and proportions, or direct proportion, inverse proportion, or now we are compound interest and simple interest. Take any concept of all this data interpretation, it is a very easy, based on formulas you can calculate the value easily, clear. Okay, now we are shifting to the next. There are 60% increase in an amount of in 6 years at a simple interest. What will be the compound interest of 12,000 rupees after 3 years at the same rate of interest? The first one, we does not know what is the rate of interest. Okay. So we does not know, that is the reason generally if you does not know, what will you do, we will say that is principal amount we does not know. So we will say P is equal to 100. If you does not know, what will you say? We will say the principal amount is 100 for simple calculation. Okay. And what is the other information? The simple interest is given 60% increases, correct. 60% increases means you will say as simple interest is, you are taking 100 rupees, for that reason you will say 60. For how many years it is given? A T is equal to 6 years. So we can say there is a, we can say it simply as PTR by 100. Now that's we can say those things here. I is equal to PTR by 100, and P is equal to 100 I by TR, and T is equal to 100 P, correct, 100 I by PR, and R is equal to 100 I by PT. You can use any one of these 4 formulas. So now we are going to use it. R is required, you know, R equal to 100 I is 60 by PT, 100 times 6. This 100 and this 100 get cancelled, this 6 ones are 6 tens are. So how much you got? 10% of rate of interest, correct. Okay. So when it is a 10% of rate interest fixed, means we are going to calculate for the 12,000 rupees principal amount, 3 years of if n value and rate of interest. Now we calculate as 10%, a simple calculation. What is the formula? P into 1 plus R by 100 whole power n minus P. When you take P common means 1200 is taken common. 1 plus 10 by 100 whole cube, because n is 3. So, we can say as 10 ones are 10 tens are, correct, means 10 of 1, 10, 11, 11 by 10. So, 11 by 10 whole cube, what is 11 by 12 whole cube? 11 cube is 1331, correct, and 10 cube is 1000. So, you can write it as 11 cube is 1331, correct, when you say this is 11 cube. So, 12,000 and 13, now you have to calculate this value. Minus 1 means 13,000 minus 1, we can say 1313 minus 1, if you say this value later we calculate it. Then it becomes 1331 minus 1000, that is 331 by 1000. That is the reason we will take the value direct of 12,000. So, means 12,000, this 10,000, this 1000 will be cancelled. So, 12 will be remain, 12, 13, 13 30, 31 3972. So, the value of this one is 3,972 rupees. This is a very important. Are you understand the difference between the previous one and this one? So, here the two cases are given. In the first case, the rate of interest is not given. After calculating the rate of interest, you have to calculate the total interest, compound interest. So, when you apply the same, now we will see the one more question, that is, what is the difference between the compound interest for 5,000 rupees for 1 year at the rate of interest 4% per annum, and you compound yearly and half yearly. If it is compounded yearly, then what is the rate of interest? If it is compounded half yearly, what is the rate of interest? What is that interest? Then what is its difference? That is the question. What is the difference when you calculated the compound interest yearly and half yearly? Okay. When the compound interest is calculated yearly for this situation, so what is the amount here? The principal amount will be 5,000, correct, and the rate of interest will be calculated per annum. If you calculate yearly, okay, yearly, then it is 4%, there is no change, correct, and yearly and half yearly, and n is how much? N is how much it is? Compound interest on 1 years for per annum, compound yearly and half yearly, means 1 year and half yearly. So, means this is n equal to 1, am I correct? Okay. Then this value becomes as formula P of 1 plus R by 100 whole power n, that is 5,000, 1 plus 4 by 100, this one, into half yearly. Half yearly means you have to add half more year, means 1 plus 4 by 2 into 100. You have to multiply this one, correct. So, 5,000, 4 ones are 4, 25 means 26 by 25. When you simply, this is 4 by 200, or you can say as simply 4 by 200 once 50 is 51 by 50. So, 26 by 25 and 51 by 50. Now, you can calculate it easily, clear. So, 25, 50, 51 if you calculate is 50, 100 25 ones 25, 4 26, 4 144 of 531, so 51, which is equal to 5304. When you calculate the compound interest annum per annum or yearly for 1.5 year, that is a very important here. You have to calculate for 1.5 year, that is 5,300. If the compound interest is calculated half yearly, what is the total year here? N is equal to 1.5 year now. Means how many half years for 1.5 year? There are 3. So, for this case, P is 5,000, R is 4%, no change, okay, but half R 4 by 2, that is simply you can say 2%, and N is equal to 3. This is a very important one. Yeah. So, we can say 2 by 100, that is 51 by 50 or 10 by 50, then after calculation you will get 5306.64. The difference between these two is 2 rupees 4 paisa. I understand. In this way you can calculate the value. This is very, very important. So, now we will discuss some more questions which are already asked in the examination and based on simple interest and compound interest in the next episode. Until, thank you.